This is a tricky war. Many parts of my brain wants NATO to intervene militarily, but the thoughts of nuclear war brings me nightmare. Plus, I have a toddler now, so I don't want to be going through a world war with my young one who depend on us dearly. Like, picture us here in the U.S. having to seek shelter, or our cities turning into a war zone like Ukraine. Look, I remember the first time I found out that some countries with nuclear weapons can actually just launch it from their country into a whole nother country, basically on a whole nother continent. That was scary when I realized that. Because for a long time in my early 20s, teenage years to early 20s, I thought that the countries had to be close to each other, or, on one of their Navy vessels or something. So I felt safe here in the U.S. because I look at Canada, Mexico. These are friendly neighbors, nothing to worry about. Even through our history class, when they would teach about the war between, the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the U.S., I didn't get worried until I realized the launching capabilities of these countries, including us. But not only that, but when you look closely at the maps, Russia and part of the U.S. territories are not as far as imagined. Now, as far as Europe, that's a walking distance from Russia. Ukraine is in a terrible situation. Every day I wake up thinking that their presidents will be killed or captured. It feels like Russia has been dormant at the doorstep of the capital, Kyiv, for a while now. Now, the way the West responded with sanctions instead of military action, it's a good strategic move. Because at the end of the day, everything's about money, right? So the West is hitting Putin and the Russian economy, hitting the oligarchs in their pocket. Although some folks, including myself, don't think that is enough, I think it's enough for what's possible with good outcomes. But we have to understand the other options. They're terrible. I feel like if a country with nuclear power start losing a war, or I feel like if a government, the head of a government feel like they're about to be decapitated, the nuclear weapon that they have in their arsenal will be an option. For me personally, as someone living in the U.S. and a strong supporter of the U.S. #1 status, it broke my heart to see the Chinese government taking aim at the U.S. so loudly. And the reports of China surpassing the U.S. like in the near future breaks my heart even more. I don't have a problem with a Chinese person or the country, no way. I do not. Some of my favorite movies growing up were those kung fu movies, plus, Jackie Chan, big fan. Chinese food. I mean, it's not the culture or the people. It's more so like my patriotism. My patriotism will always want the U.S. to be number one. And, that's in any country you live in. You aspire, at least if it's not number one, you aspire for it to be number one. But if you're number one already, you hate to go down. That's a top spot. Good through the goods and the bad that's in the U.S. domestically. Still a great country. But I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like a lot of countries are openly challenging the U.S. nowadays. From China economically to Russia, North Korea, and Iran militarily. I understand that these countries are not interested in going to war with the U.S. directly. And vice versa, the people in the U.S. we don't like wars, unless there's like a good reason that they're promoting the war for, or we're attacked. We don't like wars. We got nice buildings here. We don't want nothing breaking down. But countries are starting to understand the power of nuclear weapons, which means once a country has nuclear capability, no other country, superpower or not, will dare to test their sovereignty. Now back to the Ukraine situation. It's terrible. President Zelensky is doing a great job of motivating his country. I must say, being out in the street in the open, he didn't leave. Everyone in the country is pretty much showing tremendous patriotism, like I've never seen before. It's amazing to see. What people are capable of doing once their backs is against the wall, or they lose things that they love, people, their place, or defending your home. It's kind of like an invader getting your home. You could be the least I should say violent person in the world. Non-violent. You just a pacifist. You're not violent at all. You're gonna defend your home, and that's what these Ukrainians are doing.